Hey guys, I'm gonna do a little bit of a vloggy type Project Monday, mainly because I have to get this done so quick. But here's where I stand. And as you can see, that just needs to be sanded down, and I'm gonna do that. Unfortunately, I have to skip through this a little bit. Also filled in some of the areas just to try and smooth this out, and then I'll try and get it nice and smooth for those areas. And I might have to pull out the Dremel and everything just to get everything flat. But yeah, so that's where that's at. And then we're gonna do priming and painting, and hopefully, you know, we'll get to that and have that working out very well. Fingers crossed. So I got another vloggy. This is just gonna continue to be more vloggy. I apologize again because I'm kind of skipping steps here, but this is where I'm at. Here it is. Again, my cuts aren't as pretty as I wish they were, but I guess the point across. A lot deeper than I was expecting at the same time, but I think it's gonna be okay. The foam one might not need to be that deep, but I may just put some in there, keep that going. So now what I'm gonna do, I got one little thing to sand off, and then I'm just gonna brush off as much of the dust as I can, and I'm gonna give it its primer coat, which also seals or helps the MDF seal up. So then when I do the silver, which I did do a test on, and I'll show it here in a few moments, to show what it would look like uncoated and then coated with the silver. And the silver definitely works better if it's coated. And I did do a little fit. I'm gonna show you right here. Looks pretty cool, eh? I'm really jazzed. So yeah, I'm gonna get this coated. I'm gonna paint my little frames. I'm gonna use the same Marblehead metallic paint I just got in for my Star Trek phaser and tricorder. I got two cans of it, so it should be fine. Just light painting these things, and then they'll probably all be test fit. So hopefully everything will be ready for this particular panel. What's today? Today's Tuesday. Tomorrow and Thursday, basically, I have time to cure, and then it's just on to waiting for parts to show up. So I'm not going to have a completely full part of this console for Ottawa Comic Con, but enough to take this with me. I also kind of in between what I want to do for the M shapes underneath. Still just deciding on that. But either way, stay tuned, and we will deal with that as we go. And I may just leave it off for Ottawa and go. You know, I think it'll make its point. This is what I'm using for the sealer. Primer sealer, stain killer. I did some looking around to see what was going to be best, and this is shellac-based primer. So this should basically seal in all the fibers of MDF, because that's all it is. It's press board, right? It's like a bunch of, basically it's sawdust compressed, and that's why glue really holds well with it as well. So yeah, that's what I'm going to use. It's white. You have to give it a good stir. Dries in about 45 minutes. So we'll see if I need a secondary coat or not, and if I do, great. If not, I might even be able to get the first coat of silver. So let's get this going. So as you can see, first layer is on. Actually looks more as a solid piece now, which is part of the reason I also want to do this for Ottawa Comic Con, is mainly to see how well everything's been working for me. Because if you don't, you know, it's so big of a project that I don't want to make sure, well, I want to make sure I'm doing it in the right direction before I go ahead and worry about it. So yeah, so I'm gonna leave this here. Looks like I forgot one freaking nail filling. Darn it. I'll fix it later because I have to come do the M shape. I'll show you one time about that. So it needs to have stuff here, and I just haven't done that yet. So I have to come back and redo that anyway. There'll be some filling and sanding and painting again, but it's not going to really affect this. But yeah, so I want to see how well I was getting this, and I'm pretty excited so far. Let's get to those frames. All right, so I mentioned a moment ago about my silver test. So before I go ahead and spray paint, here's my silver test. Now the part I put the shellac on is the top here, a little bit darker, and the bottom where it didn't. But you can see how it reacts ever so differently to everything. Plus, I think the darker silver is better, more accurate, but still very silver. I like this paint. It's actually really not too bad. I mean, you can barely tell when it hits the light, but yeah, like so you can see it's just a thin layer, so you'd have to probably do more than one coat. This way I can conserve my silver because I have a lot of silver to paint, and it was an expensive can of paint. But anyway, so there we have that. And then, as I mentioned, I got to paint all my frames, and I mentioned this stuff here, which I got for the Star Trek stuff, and it's a great color, I think, and will contrast quite well So yeah, we'll give that a go. All right, so I've done a lot actually since I last did the cut here. Mainly, I actually was able to get the silver layer on. I want to get that done tonight because then we'll have a day to kind of degas or set or, you know, cure. I want to make sure I have some time to that because right now it is Tuesday and we'll be traveling out there on Friday. So I wanted, especially because silver is kind of goofy, it rubs off easily, it does a few weird things. So I want to make sure that it was going to be as good as possible. So it has been, what is this, video number 22? It's been 22 plus weeks because of the weeks I missed. So I'd say 25 weeks of working on this console project. On the beginning stages of thinking about it, and I mean, I was thinking about it even before I even started this video series. So, but to get to this point, and this point is actually pretty incredible. I can't wait to spin this camera around to show you. Mainly because, let's be honest here, the part of the TARDIS building, aside from getting all the controls and everything, is to get it into a finished state where you can actually just add things in. And that, to get to that point is amazing. I did realize two things. One, aside from having to go back over and do a couple things, coats and whatnot, one is I'm 90% sure that they airbrushed the paint on the series. Mine's gonna have some brush strokes. Do I care? I don't know, but for now I'm not really gonna care. Most of it's gonna be covered up anyway, but the other thing I realized is I don't know if it's weathering or if they just went over it again with a different color. So I may play with that, and I like that idea. I love playing with weathering. So here we go, I can spin around, and she's silver. Take a look at her. The way it glints, I love it. I'm gonna flip this around just to kind of talk about her. And yes, apparently I'm calling it a her. But you can see the brush strokes. Unfortunately, it's much more obvious in some places, and maybe a second coat will help alleviate that. But I'm okay with it, to be honest. And I'm gonna show you, I didn't paint the entire side because I want to make sure I have enough paint, but also you're never going to see it. I know in the series they actually have it flip out, but I'm not going to do that. I am going to paint, you know, the ribs and everything, just, you know, for completion's sake, but for the most part I'm not going to worry about painting every detail of this, just the stuff you're going to see. It's never really going to be a part for me. I'm not going to do a battle scene with wires popping out. That'd be cool, but that's not the intention of this. So anyway, the paint I'm using is actually gloss aluminum by Tremclad. I'm really happy with it. It goes on really nice. It's already starting to dry now. Like I said, I'm probably going to try and do another half coat just to make sure that everything is good, not too thick, and hopefully get rid of some of the brush lines, maybe. I don't know, but it's pretty sweet. It's probably going to ruin these brushes, but I might go through a couple of them. This one's going to be a little unique because I'm going to be going through it, just this one, and then I will be doing the other ones after. So anyway, mind the junk pile in the background there. But yeah, look at that. So what I'm going to do after this is completely dry, probably tomorrow, I'm going to put a bottom drawer in. I'm going to put this back on top of the full console, and you know, it's going to jump cut here for you guys to see that. I'm going to put the little frames on it, and I put the keys back in it, and get them as stable as possible. And oh, this is awesome. This is awesome. Learning so much. Can't wait to actually get everything going on the other ones. But a cool thing is, once this is done, I think it's going to be the drive to want to do the other ones. And then I can fill up this entire carport with like an assembly line of sanding, and then prime, and then silver, and then yeah, that's gonna be a big part of it getting done. But get as much done as I can. I'm not in a rush to finish this off. I know some of you guys have messaging and who have seen this video, whether you're on the TARDIS Builders forum or whether you're just on YouTube yourself, who have been really anxious to see this done. And if I had all the time in the world, this would be done already. You know, if I didn't have a day job or anything else, because I'd probably be bored to tears and need to do stuff like this. But anyway, no, I'm very happy with this. But yeah, we're gonna jump ahead here to tomorrow, and so you guys can see all the other stuff added on, and yeah. All right, so the last little bit of my Project Monday video is to show you how it looks here. Look at that. I'm pretty happy. There's a few things I need to change right away that I noticed, and that is one, these frames blend in way too much. I mean, on the video here, they don't look too bad, but I still think they're too similar. Look at the black, it really stands out. So, and the black's too much. I need something a little bit more charcoal gray. So hopefully I can find that. My cuts didn't do too bad. For the most part, you can tell. You know, there's a few things here. I've also weathered it. So it's silver, and then I weathered it real quick, hopefully well enough that you can kind of see. But yeah, I'm actually quite happy with it. I've also got this like foam piece here that it fits in the space pretty well. It's just a regular handset, and hopefully I can find something close enough. Again, because I had to shrink things down, I'm okay if it's a little off scale, or at least a little different. But I'm really happy. This I need to pump up, but just get a little higher up. But aside from that, this was very nice, very cool, and getting it all weathered. And then still need to figure out these guys in here, but that'll come. I think I actually pretty positive that I can figure out some good ways to do that, especially when I'm not under the gun. So here it is. It's going to be at Ottawa Comic Con, which at this point was last weekend, I guess. But yeah, I'm really happy. A few little tweaks to make to it, and then once that's done, once I figure out how all this goes and make sure that everything with this paint completely dries up and doesn't leave silver on my hands or anything, is to do the rest. And I'm pretty confident now that I'll be able to do a decent job. So yeah, I'm pretty looking forward to getting this all finished. And basically, I figured out that this took me about a week to get to this point. And then, so if you take all of these tops, I mean, you're looking at another, month or so, month and a half. And then, of course, I got the bottoms to do. And then I got all the controls to add in, all the lighting. I got to get tubes for that. There's still a lot of stuff to do. But yeah, thanks so much for following along for this week. If you guys have any questions, just ask me down below. I'd be more than happy to answer them for you. Again, still a lot to go. I'm still waiting on lots of controls, lots of things coming from AliExpress, things coming from eBay, things coming from the UK, things coming from the US. Unfortunately, a number of the pieces are things that go on this panel, so it's too bad that I wasn't able to get them at least ahead of time. So what I may end up doing is doing a snapshot of what's going in there and print it off and put it in. That might be a good idea, at least so people can get an idea about what's going on there. But yeah, I'm super stoked about how it looks. Yeah, look at that. Anyway, ask me down below if you have any questions. For now, thank you so much for watching this. Thank you so much for your continued support of watching these videos, and I will definitely have more coming up as I get through this. It's going to be amazing. I promise you that. Getting every piece done, and once this whole thing is done, and when we get to doing the column right here, it's going to be such a good, amazing piece to have in here. And already just seeing how that silver looks, in my room, because this stands out, but that not so much. I think it's going to really pop, especially when it's got the lights. Like, come on, the lights are going to be cool. Yeah, so thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much for following this journey. Thank you so much for taking interest in everything that I've been doing. And the next couple of videos may be a little bit more structured, not so vloggy, so I promise. Anyway, thank you so much for everything. And as always, thank you so much for watching.